In 1983, I had a car crash, and it changed my life forever. I was 19 years old. I was going to military college studying engineering. My future was to be a sailor in the Canadian Navy, and ultimately, in my mind, I was going to rise to the rank of admiral. Overnight, all that changed. My crash resulted in me having a spinal cord injury and not being able to walk again. And the day I woke up, which was about 3 days later, I was told I'd never be able to walk again. And my immediate thought wasn't that I can't walk. My immediate thought was, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? Fast forward a few months, I was back in school. I went to Carleton University. I was able to get a university degree, an undergraduate degree, and then a graduate degree. I spent the next 20 years in the federal public service working with some really interesting people on some amazing programs, a lot of them in the area of disability and employment and education, which I find are fascinating subjects and that sadly are as relevant today as they were in the 1980s and 90s. I believe that if we want society to truly reflect all of our values, then all the people have to be included. And so my passion these days as a retired public servant is to break down the barriers that face people with disabilities. Sadly, they still exist 30 years later, and I still see people graduate with university degrees who do not get jobs. I see people with disabilities not being able to get on buses or off buses, not even being able to live independently in the community, but dependent on other people for their very lifeblood. And I think that needs to change. I think society benefits from a more socially inclusive environment where people with disabilities can and do work in the society. And I do believe that it is achievable. One of the great things I've witnessed over the years is that when we bring people together, when we bring business together with government, together with not-for-profit sector and universities, and people with disabilities, we collectively come up with some pretty creative solutions. And over the last 30 years, I've done several of those projects where, whether it's in the area of education or employment, bringing together the different stakeholders, we've been able to identify some innovative solutions, and we've improved the economic and educational outcomes for people with disabilities. And that's what I want to continue to do.